We hear from a lot of couples who actually do fight about money, and it is one of the leading causes of divorces.
There is a lot of resistance. There is a lot of conflict around money and, what you're spending money on, how you spend it, when we're just copying what everybody else is doing because that's what we should be doing. Well, that's not true. It's your life. And the only way you know if you are successful is if it's in alignment with what's important to you and your values.
The solution comes in, which is our vision framework.
Yeah.
And we share this with all couples we work with, and really what it is it's a holistic approach to setting goals and achieving things, because it ties in so many different aspects of what it takes to achieve anything.
It's incredible. Every vision we do now, I am amazed. I just said to Adam, I looked at our vision and our goals, and we've already ticked off 3 that we only just put on, it feels like a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it feels so easy now.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Save My Marriage podcast. Today we're going to be talking about money and marriage, how to finally get on the same page with your partner and stop fighting about money. And we wanted to talk about this because we hear from a lot of couples who actually do fight about money, and it is one of the leading causes of divorce as well. So it's a big topic, and we're going to talk about a few things in this episode which we think are going to be really helpful for you guys. Why couples fight about money is the first one, the common money traps that couples face, and how to build a shared vision that includes your money and your finances. And I guess this was also part of our experience and our journey as well.
Definitely.
We had a lot of money beliefs to work through and problems with money in our early years, because most of us come from different family environments, which is where we learn our initial beliefs about money. For me, I was raised in a family where, I suppose, middle class. We had money and we had everything we needed. We weren't poor, but it also wasn't abundant.
Yeah.
And there were some very strong beliefs about what money was, what it wasn't, strong beliefs about work. Some of them were helpful, but the majority of them were not very helpful for creating the kind of life that I wanted to create. And I think this is true for a lot of couples, and it's why you end up fighting so much.
Yeah. And we do hear this. It's quite common in relationship dynamics to have one person, I had a more of an abundant relationship with money. And, I'd seen my parents had their own business and, they worked hard, but they created money. And so I wasn't scared of it. I wasn't fearful of it. I didn't think it was bad.
Yes.
And it's interesting because Adam definitely thought more along the lines of money is bad. People who have money are bad.
Work is hard. Work is really hard. And I saw my parents have a lot of not so nice experiences with work and business, which created a lot of beliefs and negative associations to work and money for me. So then when we came together and we're starting to create our life together and starting to get clear on what we want to create and what we want to have, there was obviously some clashes.
Yeah, there was plenty of arguments because we came to the arguments with these different beliefs. And we do see this common dynamic with a lot of couples. There's usually one partner that is a more abundant and has a positive relationship to money. And there's usually another partner that has a very, restrictive or limited relationship with money, where they're always feeling like there's not enough and there's a lack of.
Yeah.
And it can make it very hard to make decisions as a couple when you've got these two highly emotional responses or reactions to money, because money is actually neutral. Money itself has no emotional charge at all. It's our relationship to it that creates the problem and what we need to clean up. So that was one of the first things we had to do, is we had to sit down and actually write down the money beliefs that we had both inherited, like the good ones, the bad ones, just all of it. And that's what we would invite you to do if you're listening, is to actually write down, take a moment to write down, money is, people with money are, and finish the sentence, fill in the blanks. Money makes me feel, spending money makes me feel. Write it all down. You'll end up with pages and pages. We ended up with so many pages of this. And this is why I love to do hypnotherapy with our clients, because I did this in hypnotherapy and it really helped me to rewire a lot of my beliefs about money and to feel safe with money in my nervous system. Because I could generate money and I had a good relationship with money, but I had to also learn how to hold money. So, build capacity to hold it and not just create it and then spend it, or create it and then lose it. So there's all these different ways that we interact with money.
Yep.
But the first step is your beliefs. So that's what we would invite you into first. Having a conversation first with yourself, reflecting on your relationship with money, but then also having an open, non-judgmental conversation with your partner about like, hey, what beliefs did you inherit about money? Like, I'm really interested. What was it like for you growing up with money? We hear from a lot of couples that they heard a lot of arguments around money.
Yeah.
And I know there were times for me where I thought, okay, well, maybe it's one or the other. You can have money or you can have a really good relationship, but you can't have both. And maybe you're listening and thinking the same. And it's been great for us, the work we've done. We've really rewired that actually we have both. We're generating money and we have an amazing relationship. And actually, when our relationship's doing well, we make even more money. When we make more money, our relationship does even better. So there's this beautiful, like, reciprocal, flowing relationship now between our marriage and money. It's no longer in conflict, and there's no longer like all this resistance. But we know that for a lot of you, there is a lot of resistance. There is a lot of conflict around money and, what you're spending money on, how you spend it. It's,
it's a big topic. It is a very big topic, and we don't have time to cover all of it in this short little podcast. But I wanted to just point out just one key thing, which I think is really important, and hopefully you picked it up by now, but if you hadn't, I just wanted to spell it out, that the money fights you're having, they're not really about the money that's been spent or the money that's been saved. It's about the story that you and your partner make up about the action you've taken. Yeah. So for you, if it's okay for you to go and spend a few $100s on clothes at the shops and you feel totally fine about that, but your partner gets all upset about it, it's because they have a completely different story about what spending money on clothes means to them.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't have as much growing up. Maybe their parents never bought new clothes. There's all of that. The good news is it's not set in stone.
Yeah.
All of this you can rewire, you can change it.
Yeah.
But first of all, you need to know what they are.
Yeah.
So this is going to help you just listening to this and starting to write down some of these beliefs. So the next section I wanted to talk about was the common money traps that couples get stuck in. And I think the first one is when couples say things like, we need to save more, or we need to invest more, or we need to, very vague statements.
Yeah.
There's no specificity. You don't know how to actually achieve the goal. And then again, you just come back to the same fight.
Yeah.
Because no one knows what the hell's going on.
Yeah. And then you don't do it. So like money loves specific like directions and goals. And, we experienced this too. It wasn't until we got really specific about our values and what we wanted to create and what we were saving for that we could actually save the money. You need to have a reason for it. Like, and just saving is not enough of a reason. It's not enough of a compelling future, even for you as a human being. So, you're exactly right. Specific goals or specific reasons that actually are important to you and your relationship or your family or your life, whatever you're creating.
Yeah. And we'll get to that in a minute. We'll get to the solution of how you can do that in a minute. The next trap that couples fall into is the avoidance. So either one partner or both are avoiding all of the things around money. Yeah. They're avoiding the tough conversations. They don't want to be involved in the budget or checking investments. They don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
It's a full hands-off approach. And then the other partner usually doesn't even talk to them about it, because it brings up tough conversations every time and they end up fighting.
And the thing is, it will bring up tough conversations.
Yeah, so that's not the goal. The goal is not to avoid it.
We had so many tough conversations about money, but tough conversations aren't bad. Yeah. They're opportunities for growth. Like, they are the only way you grow is by doing the thing you've been avoiding. Yeah. If you keep avoiding it, you will create what you don't want.
Yeah.
That's how avoidance works. It's you put so much energy into avoiding the thing that you're trying to avoid that you end up creating it. So it's not a smart strategy. Having the tough conversation is, and like, this is why we give our clients frameworks to have these conversations so that you can feel safe, so you know what to do when all your feelings come up, because feelings will come up. Yep. It's not really a logical conversation when you're talking about money. It is highly emotional for a lot of people, especially if they have done no work around cleaning up their money mindset and their money energy and their money beliefs. And there's lots of different ways ways you can do this. Like hypnotherapy is a great way, even just reflecting on your beliefs, reframing or rewiring your limiting beliefs. There's lots of different ways that you can work through it. So it is definitely possible. We've done it. So many people have done it. The other one I wanted to mention is the scorecard, and the transactional marriage.
Yes.
Especially in 2025,
Yeah.
we live in a world today where it's like, well, I paid for this, so you pay for that. Even in people's marriages,
Yes.
there's so much tension that you're being on the same team, but are you actually acting according to being on the same team? Because that type of language doesn't feel like it, and it doesn't create it. So, it's up to you how you want to run your accounts and things like that, but it's really important that you feel like you're acknowledging all the ways you're both contributing. Like when I was mainly at home with the kids and you were working, you still acknowledged that the only reason you could work was because I was with the kids.
Absolutely. And there was equally as much value, if not more value, in the role that you were playing raising children than what I was doing going to a job.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that also creates a lot of conflict,
tension.
resentment, tension
Definitely.
Between partners.
Yeah, and I personally decided to believe the role I was doing was contributing. It was valuable.
Massively. Raising the next generation who then goes on to lead the world forward to a new future. That's the most
huge.
important role there is.
Definitely. So it's also about you deciding you are valuable and you are contributing, and then your partner mirroring that relationship. Yep. But the scorecard definitely creates tension. That is definitely a trap. It creates the tit for tat, and you definitely don't feel like a team.
Yep.
And then there is, as we've already spoken about, with the beliefs, one of you may be a spender, one of you may be a saver.
Yep.
It comes back to what you believe about money and what money means to you.
Yep.
What saving means to you, what spending means to you, what all of it means to you. So it's really good to look at that so that you're not creating this dynamic where one of you feels controlled, one of you feels trapped. You really want to have, money, I feel, when you actually work through all this stuff and you get to the other side, it's expansive. It feels very light and freeing and empowering having conversations with you about money. And I'm so grateful that we are where we are now. And we can have these conversations, because once you can have the conversations, you can create what you want.
Yep.
Whereas, over 8 years ago, where we weren't having these conversations and it was this unspoken energy, this taboo topic, don't bring up money, and because, he's going to get anxious and stressed or resistant or whatever. It just makes it really hard. It's like the massive elephant in the room that everyone's trying to ignore, and you can't, because it is part of your life, a huge part of your life. So definitely, I hope this inspires you to have that tough conversation. If you don't know how to have the tough conversation, working on your relationship actually to improve your communication will directly impact having the conversations. About money, about anything that you're avoiding.
Yeah.
It just makes it so much easier when you've got the tools and the frameworks to be able to do it.
Definitely. And that leads in perfectly into how do we actually solve this? If you're fighting about money right now and it's a constant source of conflict for you both, and maybe even pain because you can't seem to move towards what you want, then this is where the final step, the solution comes in, which is our vision framework.
Yeah.
And we share this with all couples we work with. And really what it is it's a holistic approach to setting goals and achieving things, because it ties in so many different aspects of what it takes to achieve anything. And I think before we even go into the vision, we need to be having conversations like we've already talked about, questioning your beliefs, write them all down. Instead of, basically making your partner wrong because they bought something for $100 or $500. Let's get clear on what you're believing about that. So writing down all your beliefs is first, but then it's time to design this vision, create this exciting new future for you both. What does that actually look like? If you could define this exciting future for you both, where money wasn't an issue, where it was abundant, where it was easy, where it felt light, and you could have the things that both of you wanted. So maybe one of you wants to save more and one of you wants to spend more. Well, what if you could do both?
Yeah, because you absolutely can.
You can do both. So what if you could do both? What would that look like if you could both achieve what you wanted? And that's what the vision framework's all about. It's about getting on the same page with your partner and designing a future where you both start moving together in the same direction rather than going in opposite directions.
Yeah, definitely. So you can actually work like a team and,
Yep.
allowing yourself to dream. And instead of being in fear, fear is that part of you that a lot of people attach fear to money. And it's always one or the other. It's always binary. Either we're doing this or we're doing that, or we can have this or we can have that. And that never feels good in anybody's nervous system.
Yeah.
It feels restrictive, and human beings are expansive, like we want to evolve. So really the number one thing I want you to take away from this is it's not your partner's fault. They're not the problem, and neither are you. It's your beliefs about money.
Yes.
So clean up your beliefs about money. Like,
Yeah.
Go back and listen to this podcast and fill in the blanks. Money is, money makes me feel, those kinds of statements, and like allow all those unconscious beliefs to come up. If you need more help, like use hypnotherapy to help you access that and rewire it. And then second, definitely get in your heart, get into the energy of like possibility and expansion, and start to dream again. Start to use your imagination of what could be possible for you if you were creating from a energy of love, not fear. And it's incredible. Every vision we do now, like I'm amazed. I just said to Adam, I looked at our vision and our goals, and we've already ticked off like 3 that we only just put on, like it feels like a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it feels so easy now, because once you have this clear map of what you value as a couple in this season, what's important to you, where you're going, why you're going there, how you want to feel, like this vision that we teach couples gets very clear on all of that. Once you know all of that, it becomes very clear what you want to spend money on. And then you can set up your accounts accordingly. And that's what we did. Like, we no longer were like guessing. We were actually very clear about, oh, okay, travel's really important to us. So we need an account for that. And this is the percentage that needs to go there. And then that it accumulates. And then like we start planning and booking in holidays, and they actually happen.
Yeah.
Because it's part of the vision. It's different for everyone, whatever is important for you or, that you value. The last thing I wanted to mention on this is another question we include is, what does success mean to you? This is where I see so many couples go wrong. They look to the world or their family members or their friends and go, oh, they're buying a house, we should do that. Or they're buying a caravan, we should do that. Well, sure, but is that what you actually want? And this is what I want you to also like get curious about in yourself and with your partner. And we've done this so many times, asking, what does success actually mean to you in this season? And what does that look like? Because in every season, it's been different for us.
Yep.
And so we've needed to clarify that so that we make sure we're investing or spending money on the things that actually bring us that fulfillment and that feeling of success, not that illusion of what we think will make us feel successful when we're just copying what everybody else is doing because that's what we should be doing. Well, that's not true. It's your life. And the only way you'll know if you are successful is if it's in alignment with what's important to you and your values. So I just wanted to mention that, full permission to actually take back control of your life and feel empowered in your own life by getting clear on what does success even mean to you and your partner, and then designing it all your life and how you spend your money, how you save, how you invest around your definition of success. I think that's key.
Yeah, I love that. And not just looking to Instagram for, the 1% cases of people doing something extreme for that's how you want to live your life. And maybe it is, but checking in with yourself first and really tuning into the
100%.
feeling.
Yeah.
Like if you could have your life any way, regardless of money, how would it look and how would it feel?
Yeah.
And then building from there. That's beautiful. And then also, I just want to touch on a couple of extra points before we wrap up, just to give you some more value. The other thing is, as in terms of like taking action to create it, once you've done your vision and you know where you're both going, then you can move to setting up the system, which could be things like automatic savings, automatic investing, automating bills, like getting all the financial stuff automated as much as possible so that you don't have to then drag in your emotions into it so much and get confused and waste time. Once you've got that system in place, it's very easy to start to move towards what you want. And that's something we did.
I love how Adam does this. I have to acknowledge and appreciate Adam here because he really brings that masculine container of like structure and systems. And oh my God, it just turns me on so much. Like, honestly, it's so good. We get clear on what we want to do, and then I share an idea with Adam, and he's like, great, let's create the system. And then it just happens, and then we can be in flow. And something we had to learn to adopt is structure creates freedom.
Yep.
Systems create freedom. A lot of
Yep.
people say they want to be free, and that's why they avoid their finances and planning and, saving and investing, etc. That's not real freedom.
And therefore you're not free.
You're not free.
And I had to come to that realization. That was one of my big, I suppose, limiting beliefs that I had many years ago, was that I avoided all structure. I avoided all consistency. I just wanted to be free. But it's such a...
The irony is
the irony is I wasn't free. And the more structure I put in place for things like this, automating finances, the more free I feel. So definitely do that. The final one I wanted to give you was deciding on your roles together.
Yeah.
Like who does what, and making sure that you're both happy with those roles. And then being consistent. If you're the one who manages the money, great, you manage the money, but definitely don't hide it all from your partner either.
Yeah.
I went through a period before where I made a lot of financial mistakes, and I was hiding it all from Aston, thinking that I was protecting her.
Yeah.
But I actually just caused so much pain and destruction in the process, because for me, there was so much shame around the mistakes I'd made. We want to be transparent about this. So if you've got separate accounts, cool. But let's talk about what's going on with our separate accounts. Let's be clear on like who's handling it, where the money's going, what's it doing.
Yeah.
And everyone should have an involvement, but make sure you're both happy with, the
Your
role
roles,
that you're playing.
And that it's
Very
clear.
important.
And we recommend to our clients, and we do this regularly, having a money date.
Yep.
Like a money work business date.
Yep.
That's specifically for that, where we talk about our finances in a positive way. We build in a positive association.
Yep.
We both get clear on what's happening, what's working. And if there's any new decisions we need to make, we make them then and there.
Yeah.
So you want to make it something that you're doing regularly, and you're staying connected with. Like Adam said, you definitely don't want either of you putting your head in the sand. It's not healthy for either of you to not know what's going on. We've found that date has been really helpful for us to rewire our relationship to it, and to just get more excited and to celebrate how it's working for us, and how we can optimize it more. But it makes us feel like we're in this together, we're creating something together. And that's the key.
Yeah, absolutely. I really love this chat, and I'd love to know from you guys if you've loved it. This is something we don't normally talk about money in our work that we do, but we know it's a really important topic, and we hear from a lot of couples who are struggling with it. So we wanted to put it out there. We'd love to know how you guys, if you enjoyed this, if you got some value from it. If you did, please share it with us.
Yeah.
You can find us on Instagram, Aston_Simmons and Adam__Simmons. We'd love to hear your feedback. If you've loved the episode, we'd also love you to just subscribe. It just helps this show to reach more people, and then we can help and make the world a better place, help people to experience more love and connection in their relationships. So thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks, guys.